Tips for working in a haunted attraction. Auditioning. So you want to work for a haunted house. Here's what you should consider before you audition. Come prepared. In an audition, you never know what to expect. Working in a haunted attraction is just like any other acting job. You have to be ready to be loud and clear, and ready to do anything you're asked to do. Typically, you are given a prompt which will require you to be very loud. Make sure to exude confidence in your actions. You may be asked to jump around or do something that seems a little silly. You might feel silly doing these things, but this is what they want to see. Also, you never know what they will ask you to do, so come prepared with a monologue just in case. Have ideas. Most of the time you will be assigned a character. However, it can look very impressive if you already have a character idea in mind. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. It shows you have a passion for what you want to do. Practice beforehand. Personally, I was nervous before my first audition. I spent a lot of time practicing to friends, asking them to give me prompts and ideas. Others seem to find this helpful. Acknowledge your talents. Can you laugh like a clown? Do you have an amazing scream? Can you speak in a terrifying voice? These things can really be shown off during your audition, and it can help the casters decide where you should be placed within your haunted attraction. Communicate any worries. Are you claustrophobic? Can you handle flashing lights? Can you be alone in the dark for long periods of time? These things are important to address before beginning working. Your hiree will take these problems into consideration before deciding your placement. Bringing your character to life. Alright, you made it. Now to become the best monster you can be. Write a backstory. A real effective way to give your character more depth is to write a backstory for them. If you know your character well enough, you will know how to react to every guest. Knowing your character really shows, and it can set you apart from the rest of the workers. Come up with original lines. There is nothing more boring than going into a haunted attraction just to see someone pop out and shout "boo" before ducking back into their hiding place. Pop scares are great, but that scare won't send anyone home having nightmares. However, if a monster popped out with a threat or a warning, that could really leave someone scared. Be aware of how you move. People all walk in different ways. Your monster should be no different. If you walk like you typically do, the illusion of you being something more than a human is broken. However, if you walk in a funky way, it really sets you apart from the guests walking through. Does your monster walk with a limp, a bounce? Does he or she drag his feet? Does your monster keep their hands low or high? These are things to think about. What not to do. Sweet, now you have an awesome character. Don't ruin them by making simple mistakes. Don't say boo. As stated before, saying things like boo, rar, get out, etc. are incredibly boring and typical lines that guests expect to hear. Not only that, but it easily becomes, well, cheesy. Instead, maybe you can think ahead. Who's in the area after you? Beware of character next room. This gives guests a preconceived fear of what lies ahead. Note, communication is important. It would be a terrible thing if the person in the next room ahead of you does the exact same thing. Guests will easily be confused as to what they're supposed to be afraid of. Don't steal ideas. Seriously, it's likely that an idea you adopted from another actor is something the guest has already seen. Not only does it make you look unoriginal, but it also isn't as intense seeing it or hearing the same thing twice. It's like hearing a joke over and over again. It stops being funny. In the same way, the stolen idea stops being scary. If you hear a great line told by another actor, let that actor keep their line. No one wants to hear the same thing over and over again. Instead, remember the lines you came up with? Use those. They're unique and original. No actors are hurt and the guests get scared. Don't bring your cell phone to your scare zone. Seriously, just don't. You don't need to be texting while you are working. You aren't being paid to text. Secondly, if a guest sees you on your phone, the illusion is broken. You aren't going to scare anyone after being caught on your phone. Need the time? Electric wristwatches, complete with a backlight, are great alternatives. Easy to conceal and easy to pocket. Don't break character between guest flow. It is so easy to forget to pay attention to oncoming shadows, if you can see them. You can never trust that you will hear the guests coming, because oftentimes there are many loud noises that are hard to hear over. You goof off for even a few seconds, you are seen, the illusion is broken. Need a short couple second break from being a scary monster? Go on break or take a hiding spot just to breathe. Just don't act up in front of the guests. They paid to see you scare, not to see you dance around. Don't argue with unruly guests. There is no winning here. There are plenty of guests who don't come to get scared, but to prove that they cannot be scared. These guests are typically rude and insulting. The best thing you can do is ignore them. They are trying to get a reaction from you. Don't give it to them. Don't use all your energy at the start of the night. This is just a bad idea. You get great scares using up all your energy the first 15 minutes. For the next hours to pass, you can't do what you were doing at the start of the night. Pace yourself. Jobs like this are exhausting, and if you aren't careful, you'll be overtired. Don't continue scaring someone who is crying. They are very clearly already frightened. That means you scared them real good. Now let them move on. There's a difference between scaring someone and being mean. If someone is having a panic attack, it's best to break character and get them out of there. How to be the best you can be. Knowing what not to do is a good start. But what can you do to constantly improve? Stay hydrated. This cannot be stressed enough. If you get dehydrated while working, you are going to tire out and be unable to produce your best work. Keep a bottle of water with you. Place it somewhere in hiding and steal some sips while you can. Also, be sure to drink lots of water while on break. Stretch before work. Working a haunted attraction is very physically demanding. If you stretch before work each night, you can avoid soreness and muscle aches, which will help you be able to maintain your monster movements. Work with your fellow actors. If you can work with another monster to tag team a guest or a group of guests, you can get some incredible scares. Just make sure the other actor knows you intend to work with them. Communication beforehand and eye contact are very important. Know who to target. Mostly this is common sense. If they look nervous, they are probably going to be easy to scare. If they are a couple with one clinging to another, scare them. If they look angry and likely to hit you if you try to scare them, leave them alone. Change up your scares. If you do the same thing over and over, it can get boring and the night will drag on. You will lose your passion for what you are doing and the guests will notice. Change it up through the night. Keep your ideas fresh. I hope these ideas helped. Good luck to the new monsters and anyone who learned something new from this video. Please comment below of any tips you have for others. Thank you for watching!